Oh boy, the number top 10 rappers in all of history. The best rappers in history. Let's go. Let's go right now. Now, before you ask, like, oh, what the hell do I know? What's this geeky white looking guy with these goddamn glasses on? Well, believe it or not, I actually DJ for a living. I'm not a part time DJ. I DJ full time for a living. I've been in the business 32 years. I've DJed for the likes of Run DMC, actually Run himself. I've DJed with, opened up for Funkmaster Flex, and I've DJed in hip hop nightclubs or venues for at least a decade, in addition to my 32 years in the biz. So I'm not saying I know everything, but I know a little something. So that's my pedigree. But by the way, and I started DJing on vinyls, like literally ones and twos, Technique 1200s direct magnetic drive. So yeah, none of this Serato press a button stuff way back when. Anyways, when there was actual vinyl records. So I love hip hop. I'm sure you do too. Who's on your top list? Like and subscribe. I'm DJ Tony. This is Tony's Topics. Like and subscribe. But tell me, who's in your Mount Rushmore of hip hop royalty? Who? I want to know. Put it in the comment section below. So here's what I'm judging on. Okay. So I'm making my judgments on who the best is or who the Mount Rushmore is of hip hop artists. I'm basing that on a couple of different things: lyrics, rhythm, rhyme, bars, the voice of a rapper. You know, I hate to say it, right? But you can't have a voice like no, you know what I mean? Cadence. Um, Rap is poetry, really. It's poetry in motion. Now, you know, obviously, there's a lot of rappers out there that just repeat a word over and over again. I don't know, but if that's what you like, hey, God bless. So that's what I'm basing it on is, you know, clarity of lyrics. Can I understand what you're saying? We're going to get into mumble rap later on, but and entertainment value. You know, do you get value from it? Does it speak to you? Because rap, like singing, is everything. I mean, you can talk about anything: love, loss, hope, fears, anger, peace, whatever you want. You know, I and also being real. I think the rappers for me that strike the greatest chord are not only great lyricists and rhythm and rhyme and you know bars, but also you know in the rap world particularly, like are you real? Do you live up to you know authenticity? You know it's different than other types of uh, singing or you know pop music. You can be a phony in pop music, but I think in the hip hop culture, you know, if you're rapping about how hard you are, you better be hard. You know what I mean? Or if you're rapping about how much, you know, I don't know, you love this or that, or your lifestyle, you have to live it. You know, so if you're a goofy rapper, you know, then yeah, that's cool, be goofy. But if you're a goofy rapper and you never had a hard day in your life and you're rapping about hard days, it's like really. So I think, especially in the hip hop world, but you know, authenticity is matters. But again, you got to have the goods, right? You got to be able to rhyme. You got to be able to tell a story. You got to be able to have great lyrics. Be a poet, you know. And of course, that backbeat, that tune that you're going to sing over, you know, that matters also. Which is not really rapping, but that's more the producer side. Anyways, okay, so let's get into it. I got to say right out of the gate, and this man gets so disrespected and overlooked over and over again. Hang on, I'm going to give you my top number one coming up. But this next guy, it's amazing when they talk about the top rappers of all time, and this dude just never gets the love, and it's sad because an amazing rapper, one of the godfathers of hip hop, really. We're going all the way back to the early '80s, and that's Eric B and Rakim. Eric B and Rakim, particularly Rakim. Rakim, I'm insulted when they don't mention this guy. Now I'm not saying that he has to be your number one, but you gotta put him in the conversation of top hip hop artists of all time. And I'm just surprised that Rakim doesn't get the love that you know that he deserves. And I'm not saying I'm the biggest fan of him, but I do like him. And I think he gets shafted because you know, although he came in early, you know, the '80s, I don't think he has a deep and prolific span of albums that maybe like a Jay-Z does, or something like that. And just because he didn't make the big killer money, but that's not right. You got to look at Rakim, man. He's got to be spoken about at all times when you talk about the best. And I'm not saying he's number one, but I'm just saying you got to put him up there. My next one would be another guy that gets disrespected is Nas. I think Nas, excellent lyricist, rhymes, bar for bar, note for note, just that golden era of hip hop. I mean, I think his shit holds up today. If anybody is listening to this, you youngsters, listen, give Nas a look, man. Amazing golden era hip hop. Again, another guy that gets overlooked, and shouldn't. My next one, this guy should be on the Mount Rushmore of a top rap artist ever. Great lyrics from the heart. He's the real deal, not a front, and that's DMX. I think DMX, I mean, not only is he a rapper, he's an actor, all this stuff. I mean, and may he rest in peace. He has to be, in my book, he's on the Mount Rushmore of best hip hop artists ever. Prolific catalog. Just, yeah, lived it, breathed it. Would have been much bigger, but I believe he got shafted from certain record insiders and record industry. But his stuff is solid, man. I don't know. And the funny thing is, back in the day, I really didn't play his stuff as much as a DJ, but he had a lot of not only hits, but his lyrics are deep, man. His lyrics are heartfelt, and yeah, so him. This guy is my number one. I'll put it right here. I think he's number one, best of the best. Period. No discussion for me. And that's Notorious B.I.G. I think just his voice, his rhymes, his storytelling, the beats, his demeanor, just the fluidity, his smoothness. I mean, everything. I just loved everything about the Notorious B.I.G. Gone too soon, got caught up in, we all know the story, but I think he's the best, period. That's my guy. That's my Jordan. Right behind or on the same, I guess, path or level, West Coast, Tupac. You got to give Tupac. I know they had ironically, I'm putting them both together because they both had a beef with each other, but I think Tupac is also loved the beats, the rhymes, the fluidity, the smoothness. So yeah, big fan of Tupac stuff. Staying on the West Coast, got to go with Snoop Dogg. Again, the rhymes, the storytelling, the smoothness of lyrics, the bars, just you can understand the lyrics, you can follow through. Not the biggest fan of Snoop, but definitely stuff you can bounce to, dance to. Like big fan. Foxy Brown, holding it up for the ladies. I know that Foxy's not she's not in the pantheon of greatest, but Foxy Brown was great. I just love Take Me Home, great song, great rap. I loved her voice. I loved her rhymes. I loved her cadence and fluidity. This next guy, I not a fan of his, but I recognize that, he's got a massive catalog and achieved massive success, and that's Lil Wayne. I think Lil Wayne gets overlooked actually for one of the greats. You got to put him in there. Modern day Kendrick Lamar. I can't say I'm a big fan of his, but I know talent when I see it, and he's got it. What about you guys? Who do you think? Who's in your top 3, 4, 5? I think Lauryn Hill. Got to throw her in there. Not necessarily a rapper, but spoken word, kind of little touch on the singing tip too. But there's a lot of other rappers that I could mention, but those are the ones that I like. I was a big fan of Mace, which again, he's not in the Mount Rushmore, but back in the 90s, I liked Mace. I thought he was a lot of fun. Again, this guy's not in the Mount Rushmore, but Ja Rule, big fan of, just fun, having a good time. But yeah, my Mount Rushmore is that DMX, that Nas, that Tupac, that Biggie, Rakim, Snoop. That would be kind of my one. What do you guys think? Who do you like? Just put them in the comment section below. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. I don't know. But the golden era hip hop, the 90s, was the best. And I had the honor of DJing in a lot of hip hop nightclubs, a lot of hip hop venues. opening up for great artists. Naughty by Nature, big fan of them. I'm not saying they're Mount Rushmore, but they're Jersey. I used to run into them a lot back in the day as a DJ. Oh, I'm still DJing, but yeah. Well, who do you guys think? Who do you guys like? I want to hear from you. Let me know, and don't forget like and subscribe. Hey, DJ Tony, I'm out.